And joining us now is Mark Kimmett. He was the Deputy Director for Operations for Coalition Forces in Iraq. He was the Assistant Secretary of State for Political and Military Affairs under former U.S. President George W. Bush, and that was a position that he held from August 2008 to January of 2009. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
So these files show that the United States was in fact keeping a body count of Iraqi casualties when it had repeatedly told the American public and the world that it was not doing that. Was the U.S. government, was the military lying to the American public all along?
No, because we were not keeping a record or a scorecard or a body count. These are individual reports of individual incidents. It is not as if it was in Vietnam, where body counts were kept as a metric of success or a metric of failure. These are simple reports that came up, many of which cannot be substantiated, and we were always very careful when asked about casualties on the battlefield. We were always very careful to say some of these are hearsay reports, some of these are third-hand reports, some of these are actual reports. So we can't put any authoritative number.
So you're saying that there was never an official U.S. Body count of civilian casualties in the Iraq War, that this information
absolutely not.
So this information that you're saying is incorrect, it's wrong?
What I'm saying is these are reports. Some of the reports came from hearsay, some of the reports came from direct evidence.
They come from the U.S.'s database.
To put something on this SIG acts, significant activities, we ask our soldiers every time they hear a report or they witness a incident that they have a moral responsibility, they have a legal responsibility to enter this data into the SIG acts. Some of this is very good direct information, some of this is reporting. It's not that they were trying to hide anything, it's more or less that they were trying to ensure that we understood that these were reports. These aren't facts. These are raw evidence, but not finished intelligence or information.
Let's move on to the Iraqi-on-Iraqi torture, which is still going on, or at least that is the inference that it's still happening. Why would the United States order its troops not to intervene if they had witnessed torture?
Well, remember, this is a sovereign Iraqi government. We are there at the invitation of the Iraqi government.
That's not true. You were there as an occupying force, so surely you had a responsibility as an occupying force.
We were there working for a sovereign Iraqi government. There is a sovereign Iraqi government who has a responsibility for law and order inside their own country. We had to respect that. We did respect that. We continue to respect that. We report that to the proper Iraqi authorities, and it's the determination of the Iraqi authorities what to do with that information.
But nevertheless, from a moral point of view, doesn't that put your troops, American troops, in a really tight spot? I mean, preventing them from doing the right thing. I mean,
well,
how do you justify something like that?
What is the right thing?
Well, if you see torture, you report it.
And they did. And that's exactly what they did.
And something gets done about it, but then they were ordered not to intervene.
They were ordered to report it. And you could see in the discussion between the Secretary of Defense and the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, this is a very gray area for our soldiers on the battlefield. There is no doubt in my mind that our soldiers did intervene, and intervene often when they saw this type. But to make this a broad policy against the wishes of the Iraqi government, there was and still remains a significant amount of ambiguity in international law and in military law on this issue.
Signed the conventions on torture.
And we're not talking about specific torture, we're talking about abuse here in most cases. And when they saw torture, they reported it. That was reported on.
Okay, Mr. Kimmett, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.